Donald Trump is entering his presidency with an unprecedentedly low approval rating, marking what could be the most turbulent transition in modern U.S. political history. According to the Associated Press, Trump's unfavorable rating sits at a staggering 55%, with only 41% of Americans viewing him favorably. To put this into context, other recent presidents-elect have enjoyed widespread approval before their inaugurations. 72% for George W. Bush in 2001, 72% for Bill Clinton in 1992, 76% for Barack Obama in 2008, and even 68% for Joe Biden in 2020. Trump's underwater approval rating reflects the chaos and broken promises of his transition, a pattern that has set the tone for what many fear will be a tumultuous presidency. Let's break it all down. Broken promises and contradictions. Even before taking office, Trump has failed to deliver on key promises. He claimed there would be peace in Ukraine within 24 hours after the election, a bold assertion that he didn't clarify would start after his inauguration. Yet, his own special envoy to Ukraine, Keith Kellogg, recently admitted that achieving a resolution might take at least 100 days. This stark contradiction exposes the gap between Trump's promises and reality. Kellogg himself suggested the need for a strategic framework and negotiations involving President Putin and President Zelensky, pushing any real progress far beyond Trump's claimed timeline. The oligarchy connection. Trump's presidency appears to be heavily influenced by an elite group of billionaire oligarchs. One prominent figure is Elon Musk, who has reportedly rented accommodations at Mar-a-Lago and is rumored to be establishing an office near the White House. Musk's deep involvement symbolizes the increasing sway of tech billionaires over Trump's administration. This raises questions about the integrity of Trump's populist rhetoric. During his campaign, Trump promised to protect American jobs by limiting H-1B visas for STEM roles, arguing that these jobs should go to U.S. citizens. Yet, Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have openly dismissed the capabilities of American workers, suggesting that Indian talent is superior due to perceived cultural and intellectual advantages. Despite this, Trump has now reversed his stance, signaling support for expanding H-1B visas, a move that has left many of his supporters confused and betrayed. Economic mismanagement and stunts. Trump's transition has been characterized by bizarre and distracting proposals. His idea to rename the Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America is emblematic of his preference for symbolic gestures over substantive policy. Meanwhile, Americans face mounting economic challenges, including surging mortgage rates and record-high prices for basic necessities like eggs and food. The 10-year bond yield, a key indicator of economic uncertainty, has risen due to Trump's tariff threats and mass deportation plans. Businesses are preemptively raising prices in anticipation of these tariffs, further fueling inflation. Adding to the economic woes is Trump's choice for Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, a former top executive for George Soros. Bessent has dismissed calls to raise the federal minimum wage from $7.25 to a living wage, despite Trump's campaign promises of better jobs and wages. At Bessent's confirmation hearing, he argued that the minimum wage should remain a state issue, effectively abandoning millions of low-wage workers. This disconnect between Trump's rhetoric and his cabinet's policies underscores the administration's prioritization of corporate interests over the working class. Populism meets celebrity culture. Trump's focus on creating government positions like ambassadors to Hollywood further highlights his preference for theatrics over governance. Appointing celebrities like Mel Gibson, Sylvester Stallone, and Jon Voight to these roles does little to address the economic struggles of ordinary Americans. Instead, these stunts distract from pressing issues like inflation, job security, and healthcare access. One of the most absurd proposals is the creation of a new government agency dubbed DOGE, complete with a dog-themed logo. These gimmicks may entertain Trump's base, but fail to deliver meaningful solutions to the country's challenges. Tax cuts for the wealthy. At the heart of Trump's economic agenda is a plan to extend tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. During his confirmation hearing, Besson described these tax cuts as the administration's single most important economic issue, warning of an economic calamity if they are not renewed. This prioritization of tax breaks for billionaires contrasts sharply with Trump's promises to reduce the national debt and support middle-class families. By eliminating the debt ceiling and increasing government borrowing, Trump risks destabilizing the economy while enriching his inner circle of oligarchs. Biden's warnings about the tech-industrial complex. President Joe Biden has issued stark warnings about the dangers posed by the unchecked power of tech billionaires and the spread of misinformation. In a recent speech, Biden emphasized the need to hold social media platforms accountable for enabling the abuse of power and undermining democracy. He criticized the crumbling state of the free press and the disappearance of editorial oversight, which have allowed lies to proliferate unchecked. Biden's vision of stable, competent leadership stands in sharp contrast to Trump's chaotic and oligarch-driven administration. A rocky start for Trump. Donald Trump's historically low favorability rating reflects widespread discontent with his chaotic transition, broken promises, and oligarchic tendencies. As he prepares to take office, the American people are bracing for more economic uncertainty, divisive rhetoric, and policy contradictions. The contrast with previous presidents-elect could not be starker, and it's clear that Trump faces an uphill battle to win the trust and approval of the nation. Stay tuned as we continue to unpack these issues and analyze the implications for America's future. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as we push for 4 million subscribers.